Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Myself Ibrahim, I am a PMP trained civil engineer with 15 years of experience, on-field experience basically, and I am currently working as a project manager. The main aim of this channel, as you can see, is to spread awareness toward the various fields of civil engineering and discuss the harsh reality of current market with respect to the fresh as well as moderate level experienced civil professionals, as the current market is having different expectations from the graduates, and they are not about to land a proper job in their in their initial careers, and that will lead for them to change their particular designation or their field of working. So, and for this particular thing, I own a construction firm also, name as Jewels, same as my YouTube channel's name. And also I train fresh graduates for on-field experience, which is necessary for them to start their careers in a proper civil engineering part. And also I teach them how to tackle the job interviews, like how to tackle the questions, what are the questions basically asked, and what is the basic knowledge they should have before even applying for a job as a civil engineer. And in this particular video, which I have started a series of making videos, in this video we will be discussing about the most popular trend in the current real estate industry, that is township development with infrastructure, or we can say as a gated community part. Like usually in the earlier days we just used to have plotting part, and then it was been but nowadays the real estate people have introduced a new thing called gated communities, or like township development with infrastructure. It could be either of just open plots with infrastructure, or it could be constructed row houses or villas with a gated community part. So we'll start the video. I have prepared some sort of slides and sheets. We'll go through one by one, and hopefully you will get to learn something at the end of this video. And okay, let's start. Okay, let's start our discussion on this township development, as well as or we can say gated community with infrastructure. So I have prepared a small PPT which will be helpful for us to note all the points. So I have just compiled a, what we can say, a chronological order of all the works being done in this township development part, from land acquisition till the registration of the plot, like land acquisition, government survey, application of NA, boundary point fixation, compound wall making, storing of the plots or marking of the plots, and civil work. Civil work completes of open drainage, UGD, underground drainage system, as well as septic tank, park, water tank, and electric and water supply connection, application of khata, as well as registration of the plot. So we'll go one by one. It will be easy for us to understand. First is the land acquisition part. Here in this land acquisition part, we are discussing for like we'll be having two major things. One is JD, one is outlet. It's defined as joint development. Here we will not take over the complete land from the landowner. We'll be having a joint development agreement with the owner. The land still belongs to the owner. We, or the organization who is developing that part, will do entire work from documentation till the registration part, and some percentages will be shared between the organization as well as the landowner. It could be 60-40, 50-50, or 46-60, depending upon the agreement and market value. Whereas outright is considered as the we, or the organization buys the entire land as per the actual market value, and we are now the whole and sole owners of this land, and there will be no involvement of the landowners, existing landowners, because they have already sold us the land. Here, before, like once there will be a meeting fixed with the landowners for JD or outright, our legal team, basically, they will be running around all the background checks with respect to this document verification. For the document verification part, we need to have the complete history of the land for the past 15 years. It should be accurate, and there should be no lags of lapse, so that we can know that the land is free from any sort of litigation or any sort of problems which may arise in the future part. And this is the background checks we are doing legally and as per documents. Meanwhile, we can definitely inquire about the land with the surrounding peoples or surrounding landowners, whether the land belongs to these people, how was the land before, did we had any sort of conflicts regarding this land ownership or something, that can be done. And in meantime, we can also do owner's background check, whether the owner is the sole owner of this thing, whether he has some good background also, like he should be strong enough to tackle any sort of legal or any sort of consequences related to the land. or any sort of consequences related to the work in future on that particular land. And we have to provide a formal intimation toward the local authorities, because once you intimate them, you will come to know whether this land was approached by any other persons, or any other authorities, or any other parties for any of the work. So these things we have to check it out with with these things we will come to know once we are inviting or providing a formal intimation towards the local concerned authorities. Now we have, like, once all these things are going on, in the meantime we have to plan and conduct a private survey in order to know whether the land area is as per the documents which are presented by the owner, whether the land is as land area is as accurate as mentioned in the document. But this can be done by total station method, or you can do it by chain survey method. Anyhow, for going with chain survey method, it is not required at these initial stages. We'll go with total station part, so that we can get the area, and you can get the orientation in a very quick time. And once all the details have been confirmed and the JDA or outlet part has been confirmed, you can start the work on the land by taking into account that you are the sole and like you own this part, and you have to start the work. For the beginning of this work, you have to start by cleaning of the land and labeling them using earth movers. Why? Because usually the land with this bigger areas definitely have raw bushes, rocks, dumping materials will be there. So we have to clean it and label it so that it can receive the future progress which we are about to make with the civil work. So this is the pictures I have attached for the cleaning work. Once the JDR outlet has been finalized, I have put on the left hand side. You can see we are using a JCB here. It's a like a proper word for this JCB is a backhoe, and it's a common word we are using is JCB because it's widely used, so it's easy for you to understand. On the top right corner, you can see that this land is completely leveled with respect to any sort of bushes or everything, or any unwanted things with it. We have leveled the land completely. If you can see on the bottom left corner, this land belongs to a farm owner, so they have completed their crops. Now we have taken over that part and we are cleaning the farms. It could be done by JCB, or like girder blades, or maybe like tractor parts. It depends upon the area, or it depends upon the condition of the land, which earth mover can be used or which machinery can be used. Sometimes you have to use excavator also, like belt excavator, which we usually call Hitachi, because it is required for excavating as well as shifting the rocks from one place to another. Sometimes and like we can definitely find rocks, as well as big boulders which needs to be blasted and shifted, so that can be carried out. Same land on the left hand side, you can see on this right hand side bottom corner, it's been cleaned properly with respect to that dose itself. Now we'll come to the second part, which is government survey. This doesn't belong to the civil part because we are discussing only on the civil part. I will focus more on the civil engineering part. This belongs to the legal team. But anyhow, in order for you to come to a complete understanding of the chronology, I am adding it here. So, like, after we have done the cleaning and all these things, we have to apply for the government survey, which is mandatory, because once you do the survey, you will get to know all the conflicts or all the area, like all the discrimination, or maybe like any sort of activities was done on the land can be identified by going for the government survey. Government survey can be done either by chain method, like chain survey method, or it can be done by plane table method, depending upon the area where you are living. So if you want a detailed part for chain survey as well as plane table method, I can make a separate video for that, so that you can have a better understanding of the methods which we are using there. And in this, once you have applied for the government survey, we have to invite the we have to invite officially the surrounding landowners, so that they can witness the survey, so that no dispute shall arise in the future stages. Because what happens if the survey is done without the presence of the surrounding landowners, they will not agree to the fixed boundary points. So they should be available there, and after that you should mark the boundary points with the lime wash powder, because once the survey has been carried out, the government surveyor will identify the boundary point, and they will fix the boundary point. So you have to mark your boundary point so that you can claim the ownership there, and this should be done in the presence of the surrounding landowners. And this whole activity shall be recorded either through photos, through videos, or you can arrange some of the media people, so that there should be a proper record of the survey conducted, because later nobody should change their they should not change their like statement that we didn't agree for this point and XYZ. So it should be recorded. And for the better execution part, it is suggested to go with the police protection during the government service, because usually there will be conflicts coming even for 1 feet or 2 feet. There could be a dispute between the landowners, so it's better to have a local police protection, so that the survey can be completed in a peaceful manner. Now we'll move to the fixation of boundary points. Here, once survey is completed, like the government survey has marked all the boundary points, you have to fix the boundary points in presence of the government surveyor, because if the surveyors leave the side, nobody will agree or nobody will value your points regarding the boundary points. So in the presence of the government survey, start fixing the boundary points. This can be done either you can erect the cement posts, which are usually 8 feet or 9 feet. These cement posts can be erected wherever the boundary points have been marked, or else you can erect metal hollow pipes, so that these points can be later identified by yourself as well as the surrounding landowner, so that no disputes shall arise. Because when you are dealing with bigger amount of land, there will be definitely disputes between the surrounding landowners. Okay. Now, this act should also, like fixation of the complete boundary point, should also be witnessed by all the surrounding landowners, so that they should agree to the fixed boundary points, and they should not change their statements later, like they don't believe, like they don't value their points later. So it should be done in the presence of government surveyor as well as the surrounding landowners. Now we'll go to the erection of compound walls of the boundary points. Why we are doing this erection of compound walls? Here the question arises, like once you have already marked the boundary points, it is necessary and essential to claim your own land. So if you are not claiming your land as soon as possible, definitely the points could be shifted, or the surrounding landowners can again start some sort of dispute. So once you have done the marking, or the marking point, like the boundary points have been fixed, you can start marking the line with the help of lime wash soda, and start excavating through the marked line with JCB or the backhoe, so that you can create a small valley there, which cannot be disturbed or which cannot be altered in your absence. So once these things are, like once the boundary points have been fixed, you can start marking with lime wash powder, as well as you can excavate the like you can excavate with a smaller bucket of the JCB, which is almost 1.25 feet, so that you can have a small channel type valley, which can be kept as a reference part. Once that has been done, you can start erecting the compound wall. Erection of the compound wall can be done by two things. Either you can do it like with the help of precast compound wall, or you can proceed with the masonry wall. Here, precast compound wall is the fastest and better way to construct, because it is they are already making the panels there. The poles are already been constructed. They will just bring the material and they'll just start fixing the wall. But if you go for the masonry part, it will take a lot of time, and the cost of masonry wall is as compared to the precast wall is quite high. So it's preferable to go with the precast compound wall, and it will be easy to construct within no time, and we can easily secure our area as soon as possible. So I have attached some of the pictures here, like you can see the precast compound walls. Easily the poles have been dug up, and they have been erected with almost 6.5 space, like 6.5 feet spacing, with a height of almost 6 feet, and the panels have been erected along with the compound wall, and it is very fast and easiest way of owning your own land after the government survey. Now we'll start with the plot stoning part. Here, once you have already done the compound wall, you, being an engineer, you will be starting to prepare a layout map. And this layout map should be prepared in accordance with the government authority, or like town planning authority, as per the rules and regulation. What are the rules and regulations? Because they will be having percentages for road, CA and gardens, CA and garden. CA stands for the civil amenities, which include septic tank as well as water tankers. And garden, residential, and commercial area in percentage. So these percentages should be incorporated in the layout map as per the town planning authority, so that your map should be 99% accurate when it goes for the approval of the authorities. So you can, once the map has been prepared, once you have prepared the map, you can start doing the plot stoning work. The plot stoning work can be done either using natural stones, which are cut to size, or you can use precast plot stone. So here I will just show you. On the left hand side, if you can see, we have precast plot stones, which are almost 2.5 feet to 3 feet in height, and the section measured from 5 inches to 6 inches, 5 by 6. So these are easy, good things which can easily be purchased. They are cheaper in rates, and they can be brought to site with an ease, and they can be used as a plot stoning and boundary stones. And if you see the second picture from the left hand side, we are having a curved stones there. That is naming stones. Here we'll be naming or numbering the plots as per their location. We will be numbering here. So I just want to go back to the point one as per the local authority part. Here I have kept two maps which was prepared by me only. So if you can see the map on the left hand side, it is of almost 40 acres of land. These 40 acres of land had stones, had everything. So we have divided that into almost 279 numbers of plots. In this area, in this complete layout, we have covered an area for CA and garden as 17%, which is quite high. As per the government norms and local authorities rules and regulations, the CA and garden should have minimum of 10%, and the road should be from 30 to 33%. So here the roads we are within the percentage, but C and garden we are increasing because as per the land orientation, we cannot fix the plots which are not sellable also. And if you go for residential part, it's coming 51%. So residential part should be between 50 to, like we can say 50 to 55%. We can close the residential or the commercial part, plotting part. If you see on the right hand side, I have one more layout that is almost 6.5 acres. There we have placed almost 124 numbers of plots. And here, if you see the bottom part, we have given C and garden as 12%. That is also acceptable because it is above 10%. And the roads here is 33%, residential is 48, and commercial is 7. So we can say like it's almost 55% of the entire consumable area. Here, in order to make the layout, I'll just give you a brief of how to start compiling the layout map. If you want a detailed video, I can give you an AutoCAD video also how we can club it out. I have on this. You will see on the right hand side part. The front two rows of the plots are directly parallel to the road itself, which can have a commercial effect over the layout, and they could be sold in a higher price. So we have to set a boundary point. So whenever the boundary points have been fixed out, we will take the boundary points as our benchmark, and we can start distributing our layouts with respect to that. And here we have made it completely as per Vastu, which is east and west facing of the plots, and north and south are comparatively less. Here it is as per the land orientation, we have divided the plots. If you go to the left hand side, we have came completely from the end part here. From this area, this is the boundary point fix on the left hand side. Then we have just placed some of the plots there. Then we have marked the roads. So you have to mark the roads first of all, so that the in between the roads, the block which was left, we will be using as a consumable space or residential or commercial space. So we have to keep in mind that we have to go with respect to the boundary point. Then we have to distribute the roads, and in between the roads, we can have the consumable area. Okay, now for the marking of the like I have also mentioned here, you have to go with the boundary or the reference road line parts. And once you have already freezed the map and you have started doing the layout map at the site, you can go with the marking of the plots. Here, no need to go with the total station method because this is the initial plot stoning work. Here, the layout map which is prepared by you as per the government norms could be varying later once it goes for the approval. So here we will go with the basic normal method which we used to study in our college, like 3 4 5 5 method. With respect to that 3 4 5 method, we will be marking all the plots. Once all and it is cheaper, you can do as per engineering parts. It's not suitable to go for TS for the initial for the initial plot storing work, because later the map could be changed. So we will go with the 345 method, and we will be closing it. I have added some picture here. If you can see the bottom part, we have used line wash border. We have used 345 method to mark all the plots there. They should be accurately 90 degrees, and you can definitely achieve 3 4 with respect to 345 method. You can achieve 90 degree. It could be there could be some human errors, but we are doing with tape and chain. But as of initial stoning work, that is okay to proceed. Now, once you have started marking of the plots, you fix the roads first at the site also. Like you will fix the roads first. Like you have to fix the road. Like maybe it could be seven, like 9 meters or 12 meter, like 30 feet or 40 feet. You will mark the roads first, and in between the roads, the block that block will be having the plotting area, which could be divided later as per the layout cell. If example, if you have marked this road here, the center road here, and if you have marked this road near to this 43 plot, so you will be having this total plot area, which is like 43, 60, 44, 59. This can be later marked out, and you have to fix the naming stone for each plot so that they can be identified easily during the sales session or the sales team once they go for the once they take the customer for the site visits. Now all these things have been done at site, and this is it's purely a site work. So here, apart from the site work, you have to prepare like you have to prepare or make a separate sheet which indicates the area of each plot which with their facing and their names and sizing also. Why? Because during the sales time, the customer definitely asks, like example, plot number 20, what is the area, what is the facing. So at that time, opening the layout again and seeing it is completely not. It is not professional to react in front of the customer. So to be more professional, prepare a sheet with complete areas facing as well number of the plots with each and every dimension whichever they are having, so that it we can so that the sale team can reply to the customers. Now, if we come to the later part here, we have used TS here again. If you see the top left corner, I have just kept a reference for part, like we can use TS also, but for initial stoning, not required. For the final stoning, we definitely need TS, because final stoning means money. Once you have done the final stoning, there will be definitely money involved in it for the customer. So they will be more accurate with respect to the dimensions here. And if you see the bottom right corner, we have one more picture of the complete layout done with numbering stones, paint as well the plant is being planted. So I have just kept this picture for the reference purpose only. Now we will start with the civil work. Civil works here, the first part of the civil work is open drainage. Once you have received the map, approved map from the local authority, which could be the same which you have prepared, or it could have slight differentiation with respect to the one you have prepared. So once that has been received, you have to do re-stoning here. Why? Because the stoning which you have done was based upon the initial one, and now once we are talking about money, the approved map has already been taken from the government authorities. Now you have to go with the final stoning of the plot. Go with the final stoning of the plot, you have to use total station method here for precise boundary point marking. Once you have done with the complete TS marking is been carried out for each and every plot, you can start the restoning work. You can use the same stones which were used earlier. You can just remove them back from the ground, and you can just plant them wherever you have got the points there. And once you have completely fixed the stones, you have to do the rechecking of the roads width, because the roads are the main access towards towards the layout. So the width should be cross checked with respect to the approved map. And once all the site check has been completed, you have to start marking the open drainage. Wherever the open drainage is coming, or wherever the road is extending, we have to take the open drainage part. Open drainage Open drainage we have to do with respect to the desired, like if we are keeping it on both sides of the road, we have to go on both sides. If you're keeping it a single side only, it can be on the single side. But it's always it is recommended to have open drainage on both sides of the road. So we will start the excavation of the open drainage post marking of the roads. We are using the excavation part. It's better to use the 1.25 feet excavation bucket of the backhoe or the JCB, and the excavation should be carried in such a way that the gravity flow should be achieved later, so that we don't need to use any sort of booster pumps or pressure pumps required. And if the gravity flow is achieved, there will be no possible blockages, and it will be like a free flow of the water from one house towards the sewage treatment plant. So this once the excavation is been completed as per the gravity flow, we will be proceeding with the civil works like shuttering, like PCC shuttering, PCC shuttering, as well as reinforcement part, and we'll be doing the concreting there, and concreting for the open drainage walls and base itself definitely. But once you are doing the open drainage, we have to keep in mind we have to place sleeves for the outlet for each from each plot. We have to keep the sleeves in within the open drainage walls for the outlet purpose from each plot for the inspection chamber as well as the outlet from the plot's septic tank itself. And we can cross check the levels also as per the desired level within the road. Like post deshuttering after after the concrete and everything is done, we can start deshuttering work. Once deshuttering has been completed, we should allow the water to flow there. You can just put some sort of water so that the gravity flow can be rechecked. So like in future you will not be encountering any sort of blockages, or there should be no requirement of booster pumps or pressure pumps. So the water should flow in this gravity manner and should reach our sewage treatment plant. So I have attached few of the pictures here. Like if you see the left hand, right hand side both, we have this open drainage part. They have excavated this, and they have constructed the side walls. They have constructed the base walls. On the left hand side, you can see the dimension is around 2 feet by 2 feet for the open drainage channel, whereas on the right hand side, it's almost 2 feet by 2.5 feet. So depending upon the layout, also depending upon the total plots available, you have to decide the capacity which can be coming in at the worst condition. So it can be designed as per that. Now we'll go to the underground drainage part. Here, once OGD, like OD is done, open drain is completed, UGD is done. UGD is carried out basically in the urban areas rather than rural areas, because in urban areas it is mandatory to go with underground drainage system, whereas in rural areas we don't have such type of norms required by the government authority. So for UGD itself, we will be same what we have done in OD with respect to the road marking. Here we will be marking the manholes and the intermediate connections that are made with respect to the slope required for gravity flow. We are marking the manuals first, and where the manuals will be coming, will as per the design received from the contractor or any sort of engineering consultancies which we have hired or from the design team. We will be marking the manuals first, and after marking the manuals, we will be marking the intermediate connection for each and every plots or each and every open drainage part. And this should be also maintained with respect to the gravity flow, same thing, to avoid any sort of blockages or any sort of requirement of this pressure pumps or booster pumps. So once we have constructed the manholes, intermediate connections are also connected, and they are all, and these whole network of connections is taken to the sewage treatment plant, or we can say septic tank. It depends like how much far it is. So we'll be diverting the whole sewage like whole of the UGD as well as the continuous part toward the sewage treatment plant. Once the concrete has been completed and everything is done, once the de-shuttering is also been executed, we can again recheck here the flow of water, whether it is going smoothly without any sort of blockages. It should be done with respect to the gravity flow. Now I have attached again a small picture so that you can know. The central part is it is the manhole, or you can say it has been connected to the adjacent plots also with the intermediate connection part. And you can see the square ones there. Those are the inspection chambers which we usually have, so that if any case like the blockage has happened, so where it has happened, we can check with respect to the inspection chambers. Now we'll go with the route. The most important part of this township development is the road, because this is the access way or the access which you are providing for all the customers, so that they can reach their particular plots or the particular area within the level. So it should be designed and executed in a proper manner. And this is we are considering these are the most important part in the in like township development part. Once you have finalized the finalize the road design. How we can say finalize the road design? It could be either BT road, bituminous road, or it could be either RCC or cementitious road. We have two different types of road. So once the road the system has been finalized by your organization or by the consulting agency, you can start executing the work. Here we will be excavating the existing marked up road so that it after the complete procedure of the construction it should match with the adjacent existing level of the road, so that it should not be slightly higher, not lower. It should be within the matching level of the existing adjacent road. So once you have excavated the marked up road area, we have to execute a compaction part. Compaction can be done by rollers, heavy rollers with mechanical vibration, so that we can achieve a proper proctor readings to 98%. Now, once you have done the compaction part, we will be laying sub-base grade material. Here, sub-base will be basically 40 mm by 6, like 40 mm and 60 mm aggregates, which can be laid at the base area. And again, we have to go with the roller compaction with mechanical vibration in order to achieve the strength. This strength can again be checked with the help of Proctor results. Then, after we have compacted and achieved the compaction strength required for the sub-base, we'll be going with the laying of base grade materials. Here also you have to lay the base grade material, and then we have to continue the compaction with roller as well as mechanical vibration, and we have to check for the compaction strength with respect to the proctor readings. Here the proctor readings, basically this is a test carried out for the with carried out to know the compaction strength which we have achieved of the complete mechanical vibration as well as roller compaction. If you want to know about more about the proctor test or this or its methodology or its process, you can comment it out. I'll make a separate video specifically for this proctor results or proctor reading or proctor test, how it is being carried out. So once you have done all the things, like you have checked the doctor you have checked the achieved compaction strength is as per the required part. So you can start laying the top layer of the road, which could be either bituminous layer for BT roads, or you have to go with a BRC mesh, which is basically 8 mm diameter steel rods with a spacing of 3 mm center to center. It is a BRC mesh which we usually call it, and we will be proceeding with RCCs. I mean, will be proceeding with concrete. So so this was the road which we have discussed just now. Like the main extra work here compared to the BD road for this RCC, we need to have some continuous curing in order for the concrete to achieve the strength which we desire. Basically, we'll go with the M20, M24, M30 for the major roads where the load will be higher, but M20 and M25 are sufficient to execute. Now I have added some of the pictures here. If you can see on the top left corner, that is a sub-base material 4060 which has been laid, and we are having compaction with this roller, and it will be carried with the mechanical vibrations. On the top right corner, you can see we are going with the base material, which is usually lesser, 25 to 40 mm aggregates, which will be laid in layers. And this compaction at the layers should be compacted in adequate layers. You cannot dump all the material at once. You can start the compaction. You have to do single layer, then you have to start compaction. The layer can be varying from 100 mm to 200 mm. Usually, we'll go with 150 mm thickness of the layers, then we'll be having compaction there. If you see on the bottom two images, one on the left hand side is a completed BT road with proper road markings, and on the right hand side, you can see completed cementitious or RCC road, and still the marking has been pending. I have taken these images for just reference purpose only. Now we'll see the roadside plantation. Why we have to plant the trees? Because it has become mandatory nowadays for the from the government authorities, so that the environmental conditions or the environmental ecology can be maintained. And in order to restore the environment in a greenery way, it has become mandatory now to plant the trees within the layout with on the roadside. The plant usually comes in between the space. It usually comes in the space which is left between the road borders as well as the open drainage. And here, the quantity of plants we can calculate with respect to the number of plots. Each plot we are dedicating one number of plant, so that and it should be placed in such a manner that either it should be on the starting point of the plot or on the ending point of the plot. It should not be in the intermediate width of the plant facing towards the road, because later while the construction of the houses, the plant will again we have to cut the plant. So to avoid any later cutting of the plant, we have to plant either on the starting point of the plot or at the ending point of the plot. Now we'll be having water supply and connection. This is surely depends upon the legal team as well as the design team which we will be having. In order to start this part, first of all we have to intimate the local electrical board or water supply board for the number of plots which we have placed, and and the total load which will be coming in kV for each plot. And once the load is being finalized by the local authority, we should find a proper approved electrical contractor from the government authorities, so that they know how to execute the work as per the local authorities, and whatever documentation or permits or any sort of completion letters required, it could be taken over by the electrical contractor who is approved by the authority itself. If you are going for the urban area development, there UG cables are necessary, like underground cables. They will not be tolerating any overhead cables. So UG cable has to be there with a separate TC, and here the UG cable cost is slightly higher compared to the overhead cables. If you are in the rural area part, overhead cables are also accepted with the separate TC, and these overhead cables are comparatively less costly, or you can say cheaper than the UG cables. Once the load allocation for the electrical part has been done, the work has been executed, and all the permits have been taken by the government authority, and you can still it could be concluded. Same system has been taken over with the water supply department. So this doesn't consider any civil engineering part here. Only the construction of the water tank or the separate tank comes under civil part. So I am not going in depth with this part. Now I have kept these 3 points separately for the application of NA and the local authority approval for the maps, as well as application of Khata and Khata, and the final part is the registration of the plot. So I have kept it separate just for the information purpose, so that because it doesn't come within the civil engineering part, it comes sheerly upon the licensing department, or you can say your own legal team within the organization. So NA application is done before the initial plot stoning is done, because once you do the plot stoning, NA cannot be applied, and it will be a hectic job to remove the stones during the NA application inspection done by the local authority. So before applying for the NA application, like before going for the plot stoning, you have to do the NA application part. And you once the NA application has been processed or under process, and once the inspection has been done, you can carry out the initial plot stoning, so that the sales and marketing things can initiate. Kata and Ikata application are purely based upon the development, like progress of the development. Once you will, to keep this in mind, not all the Khata or E-Khata are released at once for all the plot. They will be releasing the Khata and E-Khata for the plots based upon the percentage of the progress completed in the development part. First, they will be released 20, 40, 60, and it will be continuing like this. Then once E-Khata is being released, particular plots can be started under the registration process based on the valuation aspect as per the government valuation, because private valuation will be quietly higher. So we will be focusing for the government valuation purpose only. So like now comes the main part, whether to take a job in this township related companies or not. So I have just given some sort of pros and cons, so that any fresher or any new graduate or any mid level graduate who wants to join this company or has any offers, so just go sorry, just go through with this point, so that you can have a better view of the industry where we are thinking that township development job is good on. So first, this field is good for fresh graduate, so that they can learn the basic civil engineering execution, and the work pressure will be comparatively very less. So you can learn the civil engineering process, you can learn handling the minimal amount of labors, and most of the work will be done by machineries, and the material issues are comparatively less. So there will be no work pressure here. You will be having target deadlines, but it can be completed without any hectic workout. And in this industry, you will learn basic documentation method and involvement toward the designing softwares using of Excel basically, and you can learn the basic checklist whatever you will be having. The checks for the civil engineers will be very less here, and they can learn the basic knowledges here. And moreover, the best thing will be here, you will be involved in any sort of interaction with the government authorities, and you will come to have a good knowledge related to the norms uh, norms and rules and regulations within the area with respect to that government authority. So these are only the pros. But when you go to the cons here, like the negative part will be the salary is very less compared to the building construction industry or market. Wherever, like whereas in the building construction, the fresher will be having a good amount of salary, but in this township development, the fresher or the mid-level candidate will be having a very less salary compared to the building construction market. And here, for this particular part, you have to be exposed to the harsh environment for maximum 6 hours daily because the work is done open to sky. There will be no shade. You have to keep standing there. It will be hectic part. So this and one more thing, this complete township development experience is not considered in the building construction market. You will be considered as zero experience when you are shifting your market from township development to building construction or infrastructure part. Now comes the core civil engineering. You will not be learning any sort of core civil engineering knowledge here. Like you will not be learning the designing of columns or beams or slabs. Septic tank will be designed by somebody else. You will be just seeing it out. So you will not be gaining core civil engineering knowledge. You will be having only basic engineering knowledge, and which is not sufficient for your long running career. So and in this township development companies basically they have a very limited amount, limited staff, limited positions out there. So once you are there, you will not be getting any promotion, or you will not be having the proper suitable increments, which is good for you. So it's better. As far as I am concerned for this part, it's good for engineers who have just passed out and want to just surf out the industry or look for like an experience for almost one year or 1.5 years. It's good for them. Go for this industry, but don't continue in this industry for a longer period of time because it is not helpful at all. So once you have come across all this part, if you find this video to be very helpful, kindly like the video, and you can share with your family and friends and colleagues who are within the industry or planning to dive in within this industry. It will be helpful for them, and please do subscribe to my channel because civil engineering, I will be sharing more information regarding all the civil engineering industries as well as any civil engineering related execution knowledge. I have my own firm name with the same YouTube channel, and I I also train and provide internship to the freshly graduate candidates so that they can feel a homely environment when they are exposed to the industries, either building construction, infrastructure, or this township development, or maybe warehouse constructions. So I provide them internships, and they will be exposed to the challenges which they will be facing in their career. So like I'll be providing them 3 to 6 months of internship with a proper certification. And here I also provide services, engineering services like valuation part. I definitely go for checks within the consultant parts. I do structural checking as well as the planning part. And you can have a good knowledge or good overall view of the civil engineering market which we are facing now. And I also train people like freshly graduate or mid-level graduate in order to tackle the interviews because nowadays the interviews have been more detailed compared to the earlier part. So I also help them to gain confidence while they are answering the questions and what type of questions will be asked and why these type of questions are being asked and how and why they need to be prepared for this question. So hope you have enjoyed the video and you have learned something. This video was a complete brief itself. I can give you a detailed video for each and everything which I have mentioned in the video, and comment on the section wherever wherever you have felt doubt or you need something to be implemented, which will be like sharing is caring for the knowledge part. I'll definitely implement it. And I'll be sharing the next video on same civil engineering, remaining civil engineering industry as well as the execution knowledge. Thank you and have a nice day. Bye.